I see you made it. Progress?
Almost there.
Just like riding a bike, huh?
One more.
Steve asks the question to a man at his time of desperation because he's trying to save his son. Would you trade places with your son? Now, this piece has so many twists. It's really, really great writing, really stellar performances throughout the piece. You know, a thief is tricked into giving up his life so rich women can use him as a donation to live longer, him being her cure essentially for her old age. I like seeing how everything unfolded in this. It really captivated me from beginning to end, to be honest. Um, Especially once you see how everything was like tied together, the son's illness, the robbery job, the gun, like everything was a part of this really big, elaborate plan that was in place the whole time. So it kind of makes you want to go back, rewatch it again, just so you can pick up on the foreshadowing because it's so subtle that you don't pick it up when you're first watching it. You don't really see how it's all connected, and then in the end you see how it's all connected, and it almost is like, whoa. Really well structured piece, and overall really, really strong, stellar acting performances in this as well.
This film, Thief, is kind of commentary on the differences in wealth and what lengths people go through for themselves or for people they care for. The end and what is possible based on somebody's wealth. The end of the film's audio cuts out, but I think it's implied that the woman takes his life and saves herself, but in return they save his son's life, who he was desperate to save. I think the writing was really good and the concept was really unique and thought-provoking. I think they did a great job with the cinematography as well, and the use of lighting and expression really made the whole film come to life.
Thief, I thought this was so interesting. I love films like this that have a really psychological twist to them, especially when you're kind of getting into this like crime suspense kind of genre, because I feel like once you kind of take a psychological twist to something, those are the things that kind of stick with an audience that much more, because those are questions that you end up asking yourself. If you were like somehow placed into this crazy position, what would you do? How would you react? Which, like I said, I think is so interesting, because I think sometimes when you can get into the like suspense, horror, thriller realm, you have a suspension of disbelief, because if you're, if the movie's about monsters or, whatever it centers around, if it's not, really based in reality, then obviously it's harder to kind of put yourself in that place. But when you take a more psychological twist to it, even though this did have a aspect of the kind of otherworldly, because obviously like she becomes so much younger at the very end, but even if you take that out of it, the idea of him being like, yes, without a doubt, like I would trade places with my son, but not necessarily being given that straight option of like his life or his son's life, but still that same outcome of his life for her life, which results in his son's, not life, but like results in his son's care, I guess you could say. But then at the same time, like you don't, like his son and, his son's mom and everything, they don't necessarily know that process as well. So I think it's a really interesting question. I really enjoy films like this because, like I said, when you throw a psychological component into it, I think that it sticks with the audience that much more, because they have an easier time of trying to like question themselves as well, of like, how would you respond? But I thought this was great. I loved the kind of twist at the end, where obviously it was a very elaborate, dramatic trap to set this all up, and I thought it was really well done.
This film is called Thief. This was an intriguing short. It concerns the theme of eternal youth. I really enjoyed the narrative of this one. Lots of plot twists. The performances were wonderful. The actors were 100% committed to their roles. So passionate. The locations were well chosen, notably the mansion and the hospital. The soundtrack really underscored the frightening scenes in the film, and the editing was fabulous. I also enjoyed the clever ending. Great job, Thief. Check it out.